Hello, fellow creators. I'm wearing my protective helmet today because SUNO, as you know, is out of control. It's pretty crazy. It's so crazy, I had to write a book on the entire thing. My book is now available. It's called SUNO Music Production, and I call this the definitive guide to intentional AI creation in SUNO, also in SUNO Studio. Let me give you the breakdown of this rather interesting book. You know, there are many books written by people about SUNO, but what makes this one different is it deals with how you should approach AI in general. I also have in here my taxonomy of 9 levels regarding artificial intelligence in music. And I also have some schematics to show you how you should process work in SUNO Studio versus SUNO version 5. The very first part of the book is an introduction, and I just talk about my experience, how I was very resistant to AI until my daughter showed me what she created. And even then, I was still resistant until I woke up and smelled the coffee and realized it wouldn't do me any good. I went back in time to when I was very resistant towards DAWs. I was a real guy, a tape guy, an ADAT guy. I wasn't into all that DAW stuff. So when he came on the scene, I of course was resistant to many of the DAWs that were available. And I ended up wasting time because I could have gotten on the bandwagon a lot earlier. So I talk about my experience, and then I talk about how SUNO is not a song generator. Don't look at it as a song generator. Look at it as a creativity amplifier. Creativity does not have to do with, oh, I can play an instrument. There are tons of people who play instruments. They're not one bit creative. They play the same old thing. They cannot create anything new. So let's not define creativity by, oh, Phil plays an instrument. No, that doesn't make me creative. What makes me creative is applying my thoughts and ideas and creating something new, something that might even be a combination of things. And I'm talking about unconsciously a combination of things, but at least you jump off the ledge and grow your wings into SUNO and you experiment, right? You don't just prompt, make me a song about a heartbreak. No. You think about words yourself, you think about your own experiences, and you even hum a melody yourself. Or if you play an instrument, you create a melody. So I talk about that. Then I go into SUNO simple mode. I go into originality and ownership in section 3. In section 4, I talk about taking control. In section 5, I go more into the voice part of SUNO, how that can up the ante on whatever you do. And then I go into section 6, where I talk about styles and the sliders. In section 7, I talk about structured prompt design. In section 8, I talk about genre transformation without losing your identity. In section 9, I talk about key, tonality, and musical intent. And actually, if you are looking to learn more just about the theory of music, you can go to my website right now. It's philc.net. You can just watch the videos that are there on the homepage, phillc.net, and I talk about music theory. I go through 12 keys, 12 major keys. I talk about minor keys. You can actually get a lot from that video. Section 10, I talk about iteration as a creative strategy. You know, there's a tendency to get frustrated with SUNO when you have to reprompt and reiterate, but it's part of the process, right? As opposed to doing takes over and over again in the studio, now our takes are the reprompts, right? Number 11, I talk about advanced control, brackets and arrangement. So I talk about square brackets and what they actually do. Section 12, I talk about text only versus audio-led creation and the differences. I talk about the power of combining both. Section 13, I talk about style correction and error recovery. Section 14, I talk about polish, clarity, and final finish. Section 15, I talk about my creative philosophy, AI as the amplifier. I also talk about ethics without fear. And then I get into section 13 and I talk about SUNO Studio, the ultimate craft machine. I also show you in section 16 in 4 parts. Section 1, I talk about what Studio is and the mental model and authority, the difference between SUNO version 5 and SUNO Studio. Then I show you a diagram, which is the Core Studio generator loop concept. Part 2, I go into how Studio works. Part 3, I talk about control, feel, and taste. Part 4, I talk about strategy, transition, and mastery. And then I also show you various images, how not to use SUNO Studio versus how you should actually use SUNO Studio. And I talk about a mental model for you as you use a tool such as Studio. In section 17, I go into my Fill Aim model, which has the 9 levels. I've talked about it quite a lot on this channel. You know, you don't just say, oh, he used AI. You have to ask the question, okay, did he use AI for crafting an idea? Did he use AI for mastering or mixing? Did he use AI as background instruments? Did he use it as background vocals? Did he or she use it as just AI all the way? AI wrote the song, AI played the song, or did the human have any input? Stuff like that. And you can find my Fill Aim taxonomy on philc.net as well under AI leadership. Section 18, AI music tools as collaborators, pros and cons. Now, those that made it into this chapter are tools that I've actually used. So I have Tuni, Producer AI, Moises, Automate, 11 Labs, Lambda, and DistroKid. I talk about them and their role in your production. And then I talk about having an open mind as a professional skill set. And I talk about SUNO as a different type of power. So this is about a 100-page book. As you can see, it's an 8.5 by 11 book. So it's not one of those tiny books. It's quite big. So as opposed to making it 200 pages, it's 100 pages because it is an 8.5 by 11. So if you're looking to learn more about SUNO, highly advise you to get into the mental. It's easy to push buttons, but it's hard to know why you're pushing the buttons and to strategize how and when you're going to push those buttons. All right, so there you have it. SUNO Music Production. You can find this on Amazon. It's called SUNO AI Music Production on Amazon. Find the book, grab it, and I'm sure it's going to add a ton of knowledge to your arsenal. Okay? I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown of my book. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I'm a huge advocate of making tools available to help jumpstart your SUNO game. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. And after, go to my free tools at musicspiration.com. That's musicspiration.com. And if you haven't subscribed to SUNO, do so at my affiliate link. It's suno.philc.net. That's suno.phillc.net. Thank you, my friends. Happy creating.